Hey guys! So today I'm going to be talking about 10 things that I think every woman should know, should do, should incorporate in their life. Just different things that I have learned growing up. I'm 31 now, so just things that I've kind of experienced in my 20s and now my 30s that I think you guys should apply. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but I think you should really take these 10 pointers into consideration. I made just a little notebook here just of all my points just so I can stay on track. So let's just jump right into it. The first one is something that I've been told a lot actually, especially when I was younger, by my dad, is just to be careful because men are great actors. Now saying this, I'm not saying every single man in the world is a liar and they're all horrible. I'm just saying that a large majority, especially when you're immature in your 20s, early 30s, it is very common for men to say whatever they want to get what they want out of this situation. Again, this does not apply to all men. It's just a vast majority of my experiences, my friends' experiences, experiences of women that have come to me. Just make sure you always pay attention to people's actions. This is for anybody, not just men, anybody, but their actions. Somebody can tell you that they love you, that it's only you they're talking to, that they only care about you. But deep down, I think every girl has a gut feeling of whether or not this is true. Always trust your gut. I know when you're younger, especially, it's great to get attention. So you kind of lean towards that way. There's always going to be men. Do not fall for the attention. I know it feels nice to have somebody call you pretty and, I only want to talk to you, etc., etc. And again, sometimes it's true. Sometimes people meet the love of their life when they're young and it all works out. But a lot of times it's just kind of a game. So be careful and always trust your gut. Another bit of advice that I have is trust your parents. If your parents do not like somebody that you're talking to or you're seeing, it's probably because they're seeing something that you don't. A lot of times when you really, really like somebody or you really, really want something to work out, you kind of miss all these red flags. And then once it doesn't work out, you look back and you're like, oh, this was very, very obvious. But in the time, you wanted it so bad or you liked them so bad or you were listening to everything that they were telling you, so you kind of ignore it. So just make sure that you just trust your gut. Listen to your gut. It's typically always right. Other things such as like casual relationships. A lot of times people say they're okay with it. They say, I'm going into this just being casual. A lot of girls end up catching feelings, and then they get heartbroken once the man says, no, this was casual. What are you talking about? You're not my girlfriend. So just keep that in mind, that it may sound like a good idea at the beginning, but a large majority of time, people end up getting hurt. Again, not all the time. Sometimes this works out perfectly for certain girls, and that's great if that's what you want. But the vast majority of people that I know that have started that or gone to that always end up getting hurt because they think that eventually the guy will fall in love or the guy will change. And a lot of times it's not set up that way. It is just what it is. So just keep in mind not to get feelings involved if you are into some casual experiences. The second one is don't get a rich husband, be a rich wife. I see a lot of girls that are very focused on marrying up, marrying rich, so they're not necessarily as ambitious or worried about their own education or career. Don't do that. What if you get divorced? What if it doesn't work out? What if, there's so many circumstances, right? I know it's kind of instilled in our mind as women that, the goal in life is to be married. It's not anymore. In my opinion, the ultimate goal is not to be married. The ultimate goal is to be happy. I'm single. I'm perfectly fine with it. I've been single for many years. For me, I don't find myself interested in anybody unless it adds great value to my life. And I'm not saying money. I'm just saying in general. If my life is set like right now without you, what does you coming into my life benefit me? How does it help me? And I haven't really met anybody into this point that does add any value. It's just like, it's not worth it for me. But again, it depends on what your type is, what your goals are. Nothing wrong with marriage. It's great. It would be awesome to have a partner, especially certain times. 100% I agree. But don't get married just to get married. I find a lot of women kind of just get married because that's just the cultural next step when you're a certain age. Don't do that. A lot of times people end up unhappy or divorced and you just wasted all this time and money for no reason. Invest in yourself, be ambitious yourself, take over the world on your own. And another thing is, especially nowadays, women kind of have to still do the old school role of taking care of the kids in the house with the more newer of, taking over the world, being business owners, and they have to kind of juggle both. It's possible. It's certainly possible. Obviously, it's much harder. You're doing 15 people's jobs in one, but for me, I love it. It's worth it. I love being a mom. I love working. I love being ambitious. It is a lot harder. I don't have time for other things, or, my priorities are set up different from a lot of people I know that are 31. So making friends is a little bit harder, which I'll get into shortly. But please put yourself first. That would be my main point of advice for that one. Third point, being a girl is hard, just overall. Periods, breakups, pressure, it just seems like we have so much going on that we just have to take. And it's hard, I get that. Even for me, I'm going to do a video about this sooner or later, but I actually had surgery last year because I had a giant ovarian cyst. It was just random. It's part of being a girl, certain things like, do women have certain smells? Yes, it's normal. Do women have hair in certain places? Yes, it's normal. I find every girl is kind of brainwashed to this fact that, women must perfectly smell like Chanel No. 5 all the time and never grow hair and never have anything. Like, we're human. At the end of the day, women are human. At the end of the day, women have hair. At the end of the day, women have smells. At the end of the day, women have periods. And of varying degrees. I know some women that literally cannot get out of bed when it's their time of the month, and there's other ones that are lucky and it just, okay, it's bleeding, but I'm fine. There's so many things that we're afraid to talk about because it's so quote unquote gross, but it's part of being a woman. It's normal. Everything is normal. If you find that it's not normal, go see a doctor. But I find a lot of women are kind of, I grow hair in certain things. Yeah, you're a girl, you're a human. People grow hair, wax it, shave it, leave it, whatever you want to do. Being a girl is overall hard. Comment below if you have any ideas or topics of things like that you find that women kind of all experience but are kind of awkward to talk about. I'd be curious to see what your take is on that one. Point number 4, save, and have good credit immediately. I never really understood the power or the importance of credit until mid-late 20s, which is unfortunate. University, I took out credit cards, I spent it going out. I didn't understand the impact of it or how important it was. Save immediately, build your life immediately. It will help you get to your goals faster. It will help you do anything. Even to get a cell phone, you need a certain credit. It makes sense to just start your path early. Again, it depends on your goals. It depends on what you want. It depends on, do you want a house, or are you saving for education? Are you just saving for an emergency fund? But I definitely think you should look into, take your credit serious right away, know what affects it, and save. Start saving. People always need money for something. You might as well start saving. It only makes sense. Number 5, be active. This one is very tough, especially for me. Growing up, I was always stick skinny. Very, very skinny. I know, not now. But I was always very, very skinny. Like, people would come up to me like, are you eating enough? Like, yes, I'm fine. But I was also always very, very thin. And now that I am later on in my years, my metabolism has slowed down and I've gained a significant amount of weight. A bunch of other reasons are impacted by that. But so I'm trying very, very hard now to be active and to lose that weight. But it's very hard just because I was never an active person. But I'm trying very, very hard to get into that mindset so that I can pass that on to my son, but also just for me, so I can get in shape, be healthy, live longer. So if you start that younger, great. I know a lot of people are in sports when they're in school. Just keep that up. It will help you in the long run. Point number 6 will be, do not accept apologies. Obviously, this is kind of a gray area and it depends on a bunch of circumstances, like what happened. But at the end of the day, as an adult, people know what they're doing. I have never been in a circumstance where I've accepted somebody's apology and in the long run they changed. Typically, that person did that, whatever it is, on purpose, and that is part of their character. Again, this may be different based on the circumstance, but as a general rule, I honestly personally think do not accept apologies. People know what they're doing. They're adults, they're grown, they've evaluated the circumstances. No, we're not doing that anymore. No thank you, move along. There's other men, there's other friends, there's other women, there's other circumstances that you can get involved in that don't, need to be apologized for. Don't do it. Point 7, good friends are hard to come by. Movies and shows make it very hard, I find, as a young person, not even just a woman, a young person, because you have things like Friends and, you just have this image in your head of, you're going to be in your 20s and 30s with this huge group of friends and you're all going to do these amazing things. And yeah, some people have that. The majority don't. As they get older, people's ambitions change, their life changes. They may be married, they have kids, they travel for work, or they move for work. It's a lot harder to have such a big group of friends because your personality and your life and your goals just become different. So a lot of people experience as they get older that their friend group gets smaller, and that can sometimes be sad, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's kind of better, because I find when you're younger, you have a lot of friends that just like, let's go out and have fun. It's kind of like fluff friends, but as you get older and you have more specific needs and requirements out of a friend, it makes your group smaller, but it's for a good reason. Your friends now become more important, closer, more of what you need. And part of your friend group, I always say, make sure you are not the smartest person in the room. Make sure you're not the smartest person in your friend group, because that gives you the chance to grow and evolve and learn new things, which is very important. There's even apps and groups to meet friends if you're into that, because I know especially now a lot of jobs are virtual. Like even me, I work remote. I don't really go into the outside world. I don't have tons of chances to meet new friends. My friend circle is tiny. It's more like a dot, maybe one person. But it's just, I find a lot of people my age aren't moms, or they're not trying to own companies, and we just have different goals and dreams and priorities. So that just kind of, no one's right, no one's wrong. I just mean they're different. So it doesn't work out that way. But do what's best for you. Don't have a friend just so you can say you have a friend. It's not worth it. Okay, point number 8. 8, yes. Research on your own. Now this can cover a vast majority of things. For instance, doctors and pills. Now, of course, if you Google something, you're not going to know more than a doctor. So I'm not saying go in there and tell them what your diagnosis is. I'm just saying do research and be informed. For me, if I am prescribed something, I like to personally research it on my own beforehand, because sometimes in some situations, certain prescriptions are pushed onto people because that's what they've been sold, or that's what they have a deal with, and it may not be 100% what you want. A great example of this is birth control. Again, that is a very sensitive topic for some and a personal choice. But if you are looking for that, do your own research as well as talk to your doctor to see what you think would be the best for you, because they have pills, they have patches, they have shots, they have IUDs. There's so many different ones. And you may not get the full story if you're just like running into a walk-in or a situation like that where they may not know your body as well or may not know your goals as well. So I always think to do your own research. Point 2, if you are dating somebody, I am always 100% for doing some research. That may sound crazy, but it's not, because everything we do nowadays is online. So I think, well, I do anyways, if I'm ever kind of talking to somebody on a more serious note, I look them up. You may get some initial red flags, if you research them and some scumbags lie about their name, or they lie about this, or, they may turn out to be everything they said, but if you have that information there, I always think be informed. There's been numerous instances where friends of mine even would look somebody up and it turned out, they found out certain things that didn't work with them, or they weren't being told the truth, then why not use that information? So I know some people may not agree with me, but I'm a research girl, so that's what I do. Number 9, say no more than yes. This is just in life, in work, with people, just saying no more than yes. Do what is best for you. I found, especially when I was younger, I was a people pleaser. You know, I tried to do whatever I can to keep my friends, to get a guy interested. No. What do I need? What do I want? If it doesn't fit with that, say no. It doesn't mean you're a B word. It doesn't mean you're bossy. It doesn't mean, you know, all these things that people call you because it's not benefiting them anymore. Do what's best for you and say no. All the time, even for work. And number 10 kind of goes with number 9, is put yourself first. I have had to learn this the hard way. So many experiences where I went out of my way to help somebody that lost their job, or, you know, helped a friend out of a situation, and it kind of, you know, ended up putting me in a hole, or ended up hurting something to do with, no. Put yourself first. What do you need first? I'm not saying turn into a tyrant. I'm just saying that your needs and what you want should always come first. You know, in this day and age, being a person, a woman, is hard. There's so many things that are expected of you, and there's so many opportunities to kind of do anything that you want that sometimes it's hard to determine what's best. Sit back and see what you want. Honestly, high school, university, at the time, it seems like it's your world, but I promise you, as you get older, it's so insignificant. It doesn't matter. So if you're not making friends, or if you're not the most popular girl in high school or college or university, okay, you know, that's not the real world. That's like a tiny portion of your life. And I know it's easier said than done, because especially if you're in that situation, if you are being bullied or you're not as popular, it's hard. I get that. I was there. I was bullied. It's hard seeing all these girls, you know, with all the attention and having a great life and driving their cars and stuff. But at the end of the day, that is nothing. That is a tiny, tiny portion of your life. The real world doesn't happen until you're grown up, and then you have more resources. You can find your group of friends that are only interested in sci-fi. You can find your group of friends that are only interested in football. Like, it's such a big world that you have the option to do so much. So please, I hope you take these 10 tips to help you with your life. Send me DMs, send me messages, comment below. If you need any advice for anything, if it relates to my experience, I'll put my 2 cents in. Obviously, I'm not the know-all be-all, but if I can kind of relate some of my experience to you, I will certainly help as much as I can. So until next Sunday, have a great week, guys. Bye.